Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Captain Coder here. Happy day. Happy day to you. Happy Monday. It's a Monday. And the captain's here. What are we going to work on today? We finished up a marble day. Good morning, everybody. Dramulx, MMO Pug, Mooniz, Royal C-Dub Gaming, the whole crew's here. The whole crew's is here this morning. Sorry if I missed your name, but happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back, welcome aboard. I'm excited to be here because we're starting a new project. Good work, Goblin. Good morning, my friend. Happy to have you lurking today. It's, there are many places to lurk. There's many places for a good goblin to work, a good work goblin to work and lurk. And I'm happy you've chosen to lurk here. There's nothing wrong with lurking here. Happy to have you aboard, my friend. Welcome back. But good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. What are we working on today? Well, we finished up. Finished is a strong word. We got to a good spot where I was very satisfied with our marble game. I got a lot of plans for the marble game. Who knows if they'll happen. I have a lot of plans for a lot of things, but the marble game was super fun. But it's time. It's time to learn something new. We were getting to a point where I wasn't, you learn a lot there at the beginning, and then it's sort of like, okay, now we're getting to the nitty-gritty details of little fine things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not learning as much. And, I want to keep making new projects, new things. So what are we doing today? We are working on Redstone Pro 3. Redstone Pro 3 says Marco Polo. Is that what we're doing? Playing Marco Polo? Marco Polo. Mr. Natural having fun coding. Oh yeah, exactly. So what are we working on today? We're gonna start a new project today. Starting a new project. All right, I got it. Redstone Pro, welcome aboard. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy, where we are striving to grow and learn and become better every time we sit down to do something. It doesn't always happen. You don't always grow when you go to do something, but you do what you can. Redstone Pro wants to know, can I show you my itch page? If you join the Discord, if you try and post it, my bot's gonna slap it right down. But if you join the Discord, there's a spot on the Discord for you to post. Look, here's the Discord here. Right down here, share your work. There's games, there's self-promotion. Feel free to do it there, my friend. Feel free to do it there. We'll check it out at some point. I'm not sure if we'll get to it today, but feel free to also tell us what about yourself. Illuminati, happy Monday, my friend. Welcome back. Welcome aboard. We got a lot of people here this morning. This is fascinating. It's always nice. But what are we starting? We're starting a new project. RPG Dungeon Generator. So I have a couple reasons why I've chosen this project. I know I listed a couple projects I might start next, but I have a couple reasons. Most of them selfish. Most of my reasons are selfish. The reason I'm a teacher is because I'm selfish. I enjoy teaching so much that I like feeling like the smartest person in the room. So I guess that's why I'm a teacher. Redstone Pro thing. Is it Redstone or Redstone? I'm gonna go Redstone Pro. That's what it looks like. I am a shellfish, Dramulx. Everyone's escaping to stream from Monday's work. That's true, Moon. That makes sense. Mondays are always like really, really busy right there at the beginning, and then they sort of die down a little bit. I'll try and call you Red. All right, Red. Okay, so we're gonna make a dungeon generator. I want to learn how to make it's going to be a grid-based dungeon. So two-dimensional, no, not hexagonal, not, fully 3D, 2D grid-based, procedurally generated dungeon. That's sort of what I want to go for. So you can, there's a couple things I want to do. I think I want to use the isometric perspective. Jackie, my friend, log4 Jackie's back every day with the new emote. I love it. Mr. Natural, I'm usually the smartest one in the room because I'm usually alone. Yeah, well, me too. I'm in this room alone. I must be the smartest person. Although that little statue over there is pretty smart. There's a statue over there that might be smarter than me. No, I kid. I love teaching. I do get, there's a level of selfishness from it. I love teaching so much. That's why I do it. I've chosen the path of least resistance a little bit. Muniz says, I'm really the smartest person in the room and I'm alone. My, my other self is smarter. My other self is the smartest person in the room. But yes, we want to do a grid-based, procedurally generated dungeon. Grid-based, procedurally generated dungeon. And today's the first day, so I'm trying to follow good practices. And I'm not just gonna hop in. We're gonna create our primary goal today is create a design document and fiddle around a little bit. With what I do. What is gonna be in the design document? The first thing is, what do I want to learn? What are the things that I wanna learn on this project that are gonna make me better, make me grow? And then more importantly, maybe more importantly, is what will not be in this project. Because this project, it's not an RPG. Exactly. Dramok says, this is what we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn how to creep that scope. But we want to put what will not be in this project as well. So this project is about generating a dungeon for an RPG. It's not about creating an RPG. Let's keep that. Let me repeat that one more time, because that's going to be so hard for me not to do, because I love a good RPG. But this is about creating an RPG map tool. That's going to be the biggest thing. It's a map tool. So we got to really be careful not to be like, oh, and then I want to add in combat, and then I want to add in this, and I want to add in that. Did you guys check out Dark and Darker? Was that your game, Illuminati? Red says, well, I use Godot, so I don't know how this is going to teach me. Red, this is all about learning. There's going to be a lot of programming. We're going to do procedural stuff. It's okay. You don't have to do C# to learn programming. Exactly. Muniz says, theory and how to do it, language agnostic, most things can be easily converted. So a lot of the stuff I do here isn't specific to Unity. Sometimes it gets into the nitty gritty of like how to draw things in Unity, but this one's going to be a lot about how to generate 2D stuff using the code. Looks neat. Escape from Tarkov vibes in dungeon. That sounds cool. Could you post a link to it, Illuminati? I'd love to check it out. All right. So over on our Discord, we got a post here. I believe this is Red. Your Leonad YouTube. Gotcha. Illuminati. So sorry you got timed out there. The stream element strikes again. This is the link Illuminati was trying to post. Oh, I copied one too many things. Yeah, stream elements. Tricky. It wants to stop. It's a trap, Illuminati. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I did tell you to post it. We're gonna post it on the Discord as well. But we're gonna check out here Leonard's itch page. Is there something specific on your itch page you want us to check out? I gotta open it on another. And let me ask, there's another question I need to ask first. Is it age appropriate? So I want to keep my stream PG. PG-12 maybe, maybe a little bit of violence. Just pics, okay. Are they age appropriate? Ooh, this looks cool. Tell us about this game, Redston. I keep saying Redston. I'm gonna try and call you Red. I apologize. I'm trying to. This looks cool. Did you make these models? This 3D car here? And this environment. This looks cool. I'm gonna have to check this out. Car bricks. Is it called Car bricks? Is it, tell us about it. Tell us more. Give me more information. I need to know. Good work, Goblin says, remind me next time to link my, I'll try and write it. You can always link it on the Discord. I'll try to show it out. Dark and Darker. Is there volume here? I hear nothing. Oh, I've seen people streaming this. This looks, the inventory system and stuff looks really cool. First person combat stuff. Yeah, this looks really neat. I've seen a couple people streaming this. This looks really cool. I have not played it, Illuminati, but thank you for sharing. It looks like it's right up my alley. Thank you for sharing. All right, so It's really buggy but cool. That sounds like every game ever, right? All modern games are buggy in my opinion. But they'll just fix it in posts. There'll be a hot patch for that. Don't worry, there'll be a hot patch. That's what all modern games sort of feel that way. I found out my crazy marble game. All right, so before we hop in, I just gotta rant a little bit. I swear I fixed it, but the timer doesn't work. The timer does not work at the end of levels. Oh, did I close my browser? Hang on. Gotta open a new browser here. Moona says, maybe I should do the same. Release my Metroidvania day and just fix the 98% that's left as a hotfix. It's just, the patch is coming. The patch is coming. Hang on, we're gonna see what happens. Yesterday I was playing this and the timer wasn't ending again. Let's do King Tut's Boost because that one's the shortest one, I think. Here we go. Get up here. The timer in the top right wasn't. I gotta fix it. Oh no. It's the shortest if you actually do it correctly. Of course I'm gonna die immediately. Alright. 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 Hang on. Gentle. Gotta gently roll the marble. Okay. Timer stop. Is it gonna stop for me now? No. I don't know what I changed to make this timer stop working. It's very frustrating. But anyway, speedruns, can't figure it out. I'll have to fix that. But I noticed last night I was showing it to someone. I was like, oh, come on. Anyway. Alright, so the marble game's what we just finished. Anyone who didn't see the end of the marble game, you can check it out. There's the link for you. But yeah, what are we gonna do today? Let's take a look at our design document. Oh, and then, you know, I was gonna say my selfish purpose, that the other thing I want to do is I'm gonna be doing a game jam in April. The first week in April I keep closing that browser instead of just minimizing it. I want to do the Dungeon Crawl Jam. I'm doing this game jam in April. Alright, so April 1st through April 8th. I'm gonna be doing this game jam. I'll probably be streaming like 9 to 13 hours a day or something crazy because I'm gonna get obsessed with it. But we're gonna be doing this dungeon crawler, and so one of my selfish goals is to build the grid system for this game jam as well. So this game jam, they specifically like say you can build your engine ahead of time, but the story in the game and all that sort of stuff you develop during that week. But if you put together an engine and some system stuff, you can reuse any code you had previously. It's just the game itself that you make needs to be new and specific for this. So part of this is generation and dungeon thing is figuring out how I want to do gridding in the game that I make. So I'm excited about that. That's my other selfish reason. Give myself the advantage in this game jam. All right, so let's hop into design here. Let me get my document camera turned on. Boop. Here we go. Here's my document camera. All right, so what are we gonna, come on. Oh. All right, so this is, I almost stepped on the power. I should be really careful. There's a power strip right over here. You can see my foot over here. Oh, there's the foot. There's a power strip over here that I almost stepped on. I get really close to turning it off every time I walk over here. All right, so this is gonna be version 0 RPG Dungeon Generator. Version 0. No socks. Yeah, Moonness. No socks. I know. I'm sorry it's not my growth speed. I apologize. It is very warm in the desert. I have a fan on. It's warm enough that I have a fan on. I did have a procedural landmass generator once. Was nice to play with. Red, no worries that your power went out. Your game, that itch thing you sent looked awesome. The models, the area. It looks really cool. Did you make those models? The car model or the vehicle there? That looked cool. So this is our version 0. So what do I want to learn? What am I going to learn? All right. So what do we want to learn by doing this project? It looks cool. I'm gonna have to download and check it out, Red, at some point. It looks really, really cool. So one of the things I want to learn is the ability, you know, procedural generation. And I have an idea of how this works, but I'm gonna be doing some more research to figure out exactly what I want. The pics of the cars I built in the game. Oh, so you can like, so you can you build vehicles in the game? So we're gonna do procedural generation. So this is one of the things I've never actually done procedural generation, but I have ideas on how it works. So this is gonna be using loading. So I know how to load text files, but one of the things, use 2D text files. You guys hate this though, right? 2D text files to represent maps. All right. So I want to do a 2D text file again to represent maps. But so this is just going to be like an easy thing. Represent maps. So you'll have walls and open spaces, that sort of thing. So I got to figure out what, so in the text file, do I want each grid to represent a cell? Do I want walls to just wrap around rooms as they exist? Do I want, you know, so I got to think about what do I want my format to be? All right, use 2D text files to represent maps. But by doing this, I specifically implement a Unity editor for modifying the text file. So I want to have a Unity editor that I can like click in and then select from like a drop down or something, or have some kind of paint tool where I can actually draw. So so here's the thing, I keep avoiding Unity editor code, right? I keep avoiding Unity editor code. I've done a little bit here and there, but I really, really want to do a Unity editor like this. So Unity editor, add in menus. So I want to learn how to add in menus from like the top. So at the top I'll have like my window map editor, you know, add menus, window, and then be able to select map editor, or maybe put it in tools. And this will open up a whole thing that's like separate. It's completely separate from, like, I don't have to select the mono behavior and have that in there. Code Red Games, good afternoon. It's a good morning here for me, but happy new project today. Yes, RPG Dungeon Generator. That's what we're going for today. 2D procedural generation, or not two. So the maps are going to be 2D top down, but maybe we'll have some elevation stored in like a separate file or something. But for the most part, we want to do that. Grid-based movement. That's the other thing I want to learn. Grid-based movement. So I also have an idea of how to do this. Grid-based movement, so the user moves from cell to cell. That's one of the requirements for the game jam that I'm going to be doing in April. So grid-based movement and 90-degree camera rotations. That is a requirement in that. So we're moving. How many days do you have to do it? The game jam, so the game jam's not till April. The game jam's not for April, or not until April. So that one, but this is like, you can use stuff you've made previously for that game jam. So my idea is to use this. I'm probably going to use some of the combat system and stat system from the previous RPG project as well. but this is me exploring just RPG generation. So what is this project not going to be? So in this version, we're going to do grid-based movement. I want to have a Unity editor for doing the actual map, like making the different rooms. You can generate it and then you'll be able to edit it. So user interaction, you can do one, generate a dungeon. But then with the dungeon being generated, if after the dungeon's generated, manually edit it as well. So it'll generate the dungeon, and then you can like grab things and edit things inside of that dungeon. So it's not just that it's a one-off generation. It's generated, and then you can customize it. So you get a gist of what the dungeon looks like. So we want to be able to generate the dungeon, manually edit it, but then I also want to render it. And Royal C Dub's asking what game jam. It's this one here, the 20. Oh, hang on, I got to turn this camera off. Dungeon Crawler Jam 2023. Dramox asks if what I'm doing will be a 1-week project. No, I don't think. I think that what I'm doing here is going to probably be. Well, we'll see how long it takes. It might be a 1-week project. Most of my projects are 2 weeks. You know, something like. And I'll probably have 1 or 2 days off in the middle, so it'll probably be like 12 days. Dramox, good question. It's a 15-minute project. That's right, Moon is. It's only 15 minutes. That's all it's going to take. 15 minutes. Everything, you know, trivial 15-minute. Yeah, so the idea is like, can I build a procedural generation like system for generating these dungeons and explore that way. But let's go back to my doc here. Code Red says, since it's only 15 minutes, can you also turn it into an MMO? Yeah, you know, it'll be only 15 more minutes. Easy. All right, so the first one is we want to generate a dungeon, but then we wanted to be able to edit dungeon. All right. You might also want to be able to, so I'm not going to get here, but it might be cool to be able to like drop like a base of a dungeon and say, okay, and then here's some points where I want you to do some procedural generation. So here's like the base core of my dungeon, and then procedurally generate stuff around it. All right, so here's what I want to learn: procedural generation, Unity editor, grid-based movement. All right, so those are the 3 things that I want to learn by doing this project. Procedurally generate something. So I'm gonna have like different types of things that can get generated, and then it using like some Markov chain stuff, actually use that to select it. Code Rad says, have you decided on an art style? AI generated, baby. We're gonna use Leonardo AI, probably generate it for us. You know, I ain't no artist. I ain't got no money to hire no artists. AI generated, that's the art style we're gonna go for. I think I'm gonna use like a Unity 3D aspect and then textures, and so it's going to be all first person. First person or isometric, one of those 2 things. But I want it to be in 3D. Code Red says animating in Unity with bone animation is pretty easy. Oh, so let's talk about. So here's what I'm going to learn. Let's talk about what this project is not. Moon is, I can make the motion graphics for it. Yes, you can, my friends. I saw the motion graphics you made. All right, so RPG dungeon generator like that. What is it not? What? All right, let's we're running out of space here. I'm gonna copy this real quick. Copy. Add a page. Come on, baby. All right, so here's our title again. What is it not? What will not be in this project, or at least in version 0. So what is not gonna be here? Boogie Zolo here. Boogie Zolo says, I want to expand on my Marvel game and make it something really cool. Also, Captain, here's my totally new project. Code Red asks, what is this tool I'm using? This thing here is called a Remarkable. I know, it looks like it feels like I'm writing with a pencil too. It's great. But it's just so people get excited about it and then learn that it's not a tablet. It's electronic paper. That's right, Boogie Zolo. It's electronic paper. This device only does paper, drawing, reading, that sort of things. Moon says, if you put 3 fingers on, you, Captain, can you try a thing for me on the remote? Put 2 fingers on it and pan you around. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can pan around. Yeah. You can zoom in and stuff too. There's a lot of good features that they've added to it. So it does like the pinch stuff that mobile does. I don't think you can get it on Amazon. They're very expensive for what they are. They're not a tablet. I love it as a teacher. It's really useful for me. Here, let me get you a link. They're quite expensive, but they're not a tablet. You can literally you can only draw on it. Yeah. You can only draw on it. That's the thing. So I would never buy. I really wanted one, and I mentioned it, and I got it as a gift. So like a group of 10 people pitched in and bought it for me because I was like, oh, this thing looks so cool. It'd be awesome. It's a productivity tool, so you don't get distractions. It's quite expensive. I couldn't justify buying it, but people heard me talking about it and wishing for it, and they're like, oh, you know what? It turns out I'm really hard to shop for. But yeah, it's quite expensive. Okay, so back to the document. That's the base price. I know. I will say I love it. I use it every day, and the battery lasts like 2 weeks. You will need the pen and the cover. I think it was like $500 or $600 total US dollars. I love it. I will say I love it. Here, let me show you some crazy stuff you can do with it. Let me show you. So like you can draw on it like paper. It's loading. So like I like drawing. You can draw on it like paper. Look at that. It's crazy. It's crazy how good it is. Yeah, so if you like drawing, it's awesome. So like it works for drawing. Yeah. So anyway, it not just, all right, where'd the RPG project's gone? All right, everybody, I lost it. Yes, the stream's over. There it is. I use it for all sorts of stuff. When you write it, I think it feels very much like paper when you're writing and drawing. Tablets don't feel quite right to me. I use it all the time. You can put PDFs on it. You can mark up the PDFs. You can do highlighting on PDFs. So students' work I will often put on it and mark it up for them. They're expensive, but they're productivity tools. There's no email on them. You don't get distractions. So the idea is you can turn everything off and use it distraction free. If it saves trees, then it's worth the price. Well, it probably uses enough energy that I don't know. How much does it cost? How much energy does it use to make a tree? Boogie's Delight, I saw Darkest Dungeon there. The captain is a masochist. Yeah, I did the Darkest Dungeon. I got the achievement to beat it in under 100 days. I did it. Remember, I always say I like games that kick my butt. I like games that destroy me. Darkest Dungeon. I'm looking forward to the next Darkest Dungeon as well. All right. So what will this project not be? So we have an idea of, here's what we want to learn. Here's what I want to learn. Procedural generation. I've never done it. I have some ideas on how to do it. I want to do a Unity editor, like a legitimate Unity editor for editing a text file that is in a format. So the editor will force us to use only the correct letters and symbols inside of our editor. And I want it to be a grid-based movement. So moving around using grid-based. So it's going to be first-person perspective, moving around. What will it not be? Not an RPG. So it's not a game. This is like not a game. Code Red also needs a level for a gas. So this is not an RPG. It's just the generator. Just the generator. That is one thing I need to make sure. If I actually make it an RPG, I'm never gonna finish. It. So this is just the generator for the map. moving around it. We might add in some, I'm doing air quotes here. We might add in some monsters, but those will just be like maybe 3D models. Exactly, Code Red. So this is how we would make it. So keeping that scope small, at least for version 0. Version 0.1 or something, we might add in some combat elements, encounters, that sort of thing. So it is not an RPG. It's just explaining how we can generate it and then move around in it. So like, how do we place objects inside of it? Drambox, wait, Captain, hear me out. Whoa, Captain, slow down, hear me out. RPG dungeon generator for D&D tabletop game made in Unity, including all rules from all of the different, basic multiplayer for moving pieces. No, we got to add in multiplayer. All right, so this sounds new project. Tani does stuff. That's right. New project today. We are looking at procedurally generated stuff. All right. So version 0. We're gonna go with version 0, not multiplayer. Not multiplayer. Boogiezilla, we just went from making a map generator to making Roll20. So we're not gonna add in multiplayer. Are you insane? As fun as that sounds, that would be really cool though to have like a first-person dungeon with like a dungeon master person in there. I want to seduce the tree demon. Exactly. We all, the bard. The bard's gonna. Can I seduce? The mimic? Yeah. So there's no rules. So it's just an RPG. It's not an RPG. It's just a map maker. It's not multiplayer. But I want to make sure that this doesn't turn into an RPG on this first portion. That way you can use it with multiplayer. No specific game rules. Yes. So not multiplayer. I should say not multi-user. So it's not a game. It's a generator for a game. It is not. All right. One more thing that it's not. Not an environment generator. So we're sticking specifically to 2D dungeons that get rendered in 3D. Not an environment generator. Specifically 2D. So no cities, no forests. Unless they follow the same sort of pattern that we're using. So no cities, no forests, that sort of thing. So that's the main idea. So we want a dungeon generator. I want the levels to be represented as 2D grid-based because I'm doing the Dungeon Crawler Jam, and this is a gritter-based dungeons. So I'm going to focus on getting an editor, doing some procedural generation, and grid-based movement. That is what we're focusing on. I hope this is not too disappointing for anybody, but we got to keep it in scope, at least for version 0, version 1, or version 0.1. Moonness, are you going to add crafting to them? Oh, yeah, we could do it. We could do voxel-based crafting, add in a crafting system. No crafting, no inventory. So, not a game. It's not a game. It's for generating stuff. C-Singi? C-Singi? Let me know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I'm going to call you C-Singe for now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but happy Monday, my friend. Welcome aboard. So happy to have you here. I'm a computer science teacher. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. But yes, we are going to procedurally generate. We might procedurally generate placeholders for enemies. So it might generate an enemy should be in this room. There should be an encounter, that sort of thing. Chris Kahn, happy Monday, my friend. Welcome aboard. We got to be careful here. How to ban Moon from making suggestions. Yes, we got to Google that. All right, so this is sort of what I want to do. These are the things that's what I want to make sure it's not. We want to make sure it's not this. We want to focus on this part. So today, what did I put on my goal list here? But yeah, Chris Kahn, happy Monday, my friend. Thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard. Please let me know that you're real. I got 2 followers right there at the exact same time. I'd like to make sure both of you are real. Sometimes I get these like fake followers, which is always fascinating. What is that? Why would I get fake followers? And it's like there's like follower bots or something. But welcome aboard, my friends. I hope you're real. Welcome to Captain Coders Academy, where we strive to learn and grow. Let's turn this document cam on. So we've got a little bit of our design document, what we want to do. Moon is, you know what we should do a project called the not to-do list. Let's make a project called the not to-do list where we implement all the things that are going to take us 7 years to finish. All right, so the first thing, so we've finished a design document, kind of. We finished this part of our design document. Happy with that. Always good to start out with an easy. It's always good to start out with an easy one. So I know what I want to learn. I know what it's not going to be. Let's get our Unity project set up here. Oh, and for being here to witness this momentous occasion. 50 points. We finished. Boom. Knocked it off. There's not all 17 of you. Wow. 17 people here already. Happy to have you here. Welcome aboard. CodeRad said it's a good idea to make that kind of document and scope ahead of time. Yes, absolutely, CodeRad. Let's do a little bit of shout outs. I know a lot of people here know each other, but I want to get some shout outs in. First off, shout out to Mooniz. Mooniz is a real game developer. He has taught me so much, so much about Unity and game development. On his stream and on my stream. He's always hanging out here giving me advice. Thank you, Mooniz. I just want to say thank you. Evan, real quick, in that chat, if you're not currently following Mooniz, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that heart. Give him some love. Go follow Mooniz. He's got some great ideas. He's currently in the process. Oh yeah, and if you do, hang on, I got a command for you. If you Mooniz like this, incredible streamer, Metroidvania stuff. He's in the process of creating a base game for Metroidvania. Chris Kahn, thank you so much for saying first time chat. Welcome aboard, my friend. So happy to have you here. Says, I'm a programming student. I'm changing career and always dreaming of working with games. Well, happy to have you here. Like I said, I'm a computer science teacher. I'm a computer science educator. I am learning how to develop games. I'm very new to game development. So let's say I'm very new to game development. I'm doing it. My students wanted me to teach a Unity class, and so I'm in the process of learning it so I can teach it better, and I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast streaming it. So welcome aboard, my friend. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Do not hesitate to backseat code. Love having you here. And also, if you want to see a real game developer, hit that follow button for Mooniz. Give him some love. Get him some love. All right, next up, we got to do one more shout out here. Maybe 2. I think at least one more shout out. See if it'll let me get it in there. I got to wait 21 seconds to give another shout out. But while we're waiting for that shout out to happen, everybody, CodeRad Games is another real game developer. One of my favorite streamers, Game of the Year. He's working on Game of the Year. He's making an amazing game called Rogue Blight. Let's go check it out here. Let's go check it out. I know you haven't updated your stream page yet, but go ahead real quick. While we're waiting for that shout out button to work, click that link. Go check out Rogue Blight. If you like fighting combat based games, if you like Souls-like games, if you like games that kick your butt and are super hard, Rogue Blight's the game for you. Thank you for that link, CodeRad. Look at this. We had that. Look at this. Now, of course, it always does this. It always does this when I'm streaming. Come on. Look at this. Look at this graphic change. Boom. Look. That's horrifying. Look at that thing. Oh my goodness. Look at that thing. That thing's horrifying. You got to check it out, though. It's going to be an awesome game. 2D RPG, action, combat, Souls-like game. RPG might not be the right word, but it feels that way. I watch his stream. Go check out his stream. He streams almost daily. He happens to be streaming during my lunch break very frequently. I like to hang out there. go ahead and hit that heart button, hit follow. So if you want to watch some real game developers developing long-term real games, these are the guys to do it. Mooniz, CodeRed, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all the stuff you've taught me about game development, taught me about Unity. I appreciate it greatly. But go check them out. Go check them out. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me. But yes, definitely check those guys out. Awesome stuff happening. Okay. Look at that. Look at this game looks hard. I'm excited. I'm so excited to check it out. All right. What are we going to do next? All right. We're 45 minutes in. 45 minutes in, we've got ourselves a little design document. Let's set up our Unity project. We're going to get our assembly set up so that way we're able to do some stuff. Do some semi-interesting things. So I'm going to create here a folder for my scripts. Scripts. Someone else let us know if I haven't dropped any frames. Okay. All right. Earlier, Twitch was being really laggy for me this morning. Even though my connection was fine. Not on multiple different, I was trying different people to see if it was, I was watching Clayman Dev, and yeah, it's having some issues with that. All right, so we have a scripts folder. We're also going to create a tests folder. All right, and then an inputs folder. So we have 3 different assemblies for our project. So what is an assembly? What is an assembly? By default, if you just start making scripts in your game, in your Unity project, they're all sort of in like the default assembly. But you know, if you want to add in tests, which I do, if you want to add in test scripts, you want to create a new assembly. So we're going to do that real quick. So if I come over here, what is it? Create assembly definition, testing. Oh, I have to do a testing assembly folder. Hang on. There's another option here. Windows. How do I get to the testing window here? Does anyone remember? I can never remember. I always have to general test runner. All right. So our test runner allows us to write tests. And because I'm doing some like algorithmic coding, I don't want to have to wait and click run every time and wait for my project to load and the scene to load and stuff. If you do tests, if you do tests, you can test isolated chunks more easily. So I highly recommend working on building tests. It feels painful. It feels really painful, but I promise you they're worth it, especially if they're edit mode tests. Play mode tests, I haven't quite figured out how to get interesting and working. But since I'm building a thing that like generates stuff, I want to be able to test out, hey, did it generate the right thing? I was expecting this percentage of the time, that sort of thing. Moon said, CodeRed got to get a better GPU so you can run 3 4K videos and 10 Twitch streams at the same time. Important for game dev. It's the most important part of game dev, is being able to watch 10 Twitch streams at the same time. Illuminati says, I realize I'm too reliant on assets lately, but once I'm on the clock, I need to create something playable. I'm currently using a lot of the Unity assets in hardcore mode. Gotcha. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with using the asset stores. There's nothing wrong with using the asset store and using pre-made assets. I do very little of my own asset creation just because I'm doing a lot of prototyping. I think I will probably make more of my own stuff. I want to write music. I have ideas. I have like a whole symphony of music I want to create for the Marble game. Just so you guys know, I'm a musician. I was a music major. Anyway, we're gonna create an assembly folder here. All right, getting distracted. One moment. We're gonna create an edit mode. This is our tests folder. Editor tests. Like that. Louis says it's limiting learning. I'm using controller assets, water physics assets, this and that, and I'll call myself a dev. I don't know. We'll see. So it's kind of interesting. There's a level of like, if you want to learn, maybe the asset's not the best way to go, right? So it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Are you just trying to make a game, get there really quick and build it? Or do you want to learn how to program and develop that aspect of it, Boogiezilla says Joe was a music major and then he remembered he needed money so he could eat. Well, yeah, maybe. Dremel says put editor code scripts in the editor folder, or if if Unity editor. Dremel, fascinating. We could do that. Or we could get it bound by our assembly. So our assembly is an editor assembly, and this will actually make sure that this is editor only. So if we look at our inspector, so I don't have to use the crazy magic editor folder, you're right. But our test here is actually editor test, so it will only be compiled in our editor. So anything I put inside this folder doesn't have to be, won't be part of the built assembly. It's right here. Yeah, so it's one of the benefits of how you do it. So a lot of times if you have very dependent, so you're correct, in your code, by default, the editor folder is a different assembly. So it's like one of these magic it's one of those things that I've learned about Unity is the magic editor folder happens to only get compiled to an assembly that the editor has access to. Yep. So there's lots of different things you can do, but I'm using the assembly mode because I like the way, because I want to do tests. All right, and so I want to have an assembly set up where I have testing available to me. So everything that I'm going to be able to test goes in this folder. All right, so then I'm going to create an inputs here. All right, so I got to import the new input system. So package manager, Unity registry input system. So we're going to put the new input system. We're going to install this. All right. There's so much that goes into just getting a project set up to be able to use it, which is fascinating. There's several magic folders. Yeah, editor, resources. I was looking at it the other day. There's a bunch of what I call magic folders. Unity special folders. Streaming assets, plugins. Yeah, so you might not know that these exist. Editor, gizmos, resources, assets, streaming assets, Android asset packs. So there's all sorts of fancy bits in there. You gotta be careful. Boogie's also, I didn't realize that Unity has an HTML UI builder. That's part of 2022, right? Or is that something that I can install in 2021? This project is using the new input system. Yes, we gotta restart. All right. Got to restart. I think it's in. I think I might have to install something specifically for. It's 2020, 2021. Oh, fancy. Good to know. I haven't used it yet. Not going to use it on this project, I don't think. But that's one more thing to learn. We might use it. We might say, okay, we're going to learn something new with the HTML. Dramulk's question: do you know if it is less resource intensive than the traditional Canvas UI, or is it just something that sits on top of it? Window UI toolkit for when you want to use it. Well, maybe we will use it. Maybe we'll look into it. Maybe we'll look into it. All right, so we got our input system. So we're gonna create a input here, input actions. It's gonna be called game user inputs. Drama says UI toolkit is mostly used for editor windows. It can work in game, but it's not production ready. Gotcha. Okay, so that's why you're recommending using it. I'll take a look at it. I think maybe we will use it because this project I want to learn how to add in editor windows. So I want to be able to add in like up here window, select some, or maybe even have like dungeoneering toolkit and select it. Tramulk says, as far as performance, that's what I am still researching. Technically, it should be better, but I've never seen any proof of that. Gotcha. So we got our user inputs. There's nothing here yet, but I love this generate class. All right. And the namespace is going to be, well, what's the name of the project? Dungeoneering. All right. We're going to call this the Dungeoneering Kit. Captain Coder. So it's going to be Captain Coder.Dungeoneering. It's going to be our Dungeoneering kit. All right, we'll click apply. And so this is going to generate a thing where I can put my own user input stuff. Define user input. So one of the things I want to be is like forward, move backward, that sort of thing. And we're gonna put this in. We'll just put it in scripts. I think it's okay to have this as the same assembly inside of scripts. All right, we're gonna move it over to scripts. We're gonna create an assembly here for this as well. So our scripts assemblies. So this is like our game. Ooh, this is gonna be like our game assemblies. Interesting. I'm just realizing that I am gonna need an editor stuff as well. But let's create an assembly. Where's our assembly? Assembly. Why can't I find you? Assembly definition. There it is. You could render it to a texture and show it in world space. Yeah, but then the UI events get awkward, Moon, as I've done that before. The UI, like, you can't click on it. So if you're doing like UI stuff and you have a button, you can't actually click on it because it's a texture and you have to do a bunch of fancy stuff to do the detection on it. I did do that once. We're gonna call this our render texture. A big no-no for me. It depends. I think there are situations where you might want to do it. I think for doing something like portals, like the way Portal does it, I think you could do a render texture. I think that could make it really, really simple to do. I think that's what it means. I think if it's what I think it is. So this is gonna be our dungeoneering. Dungeoneering like RPG. I don't know what to call this, but this is gonna be our dungeoneering RPG. Our input binding no longer exists, so we have to actually tell that when we set up this assembly, we want access to our inputs here. So we need to add our input system. Like this. Render is like no difference than to render a camera, but because that's what it's doing already. But using that, and Dramel says, but using that as a map, for example, is not really great. It's how most people do maps or character prefers. Tell us why it's not great. Is it because it's not performant? What's not great about it? You can't just say something's not great and then leave it at that. You gotta back that up. All right, so this is gonna be where the controls for the in-game stuff happen, and then we're gonna have our editor scripts as well. Dramel, she said, what is the magic for? Oh, it's not gonna work anyway. I think it's editor, like this. I think I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to anyway make a assembly for this as well, no matter what, because, all right, I'm gonna call this editor scripts. Create one more assembly, dungeoneering kit. Maybe it's all one. I'm not sure. All right, we're gonna go on no platforms. We're gonna go with just the editor. Do I really have to uncheck all, deselect all? There we go. This is editor only. This is gonna be our dungeoneering kit. All of our editor scripts will go here. But we also are going to want a reference to apply. The dungeoneering RPG stuff. Because we're going to define like classes that are shared between the two here. So this one is going to reference this assembly. And then our tests are going to reference both of them. So our editor tests, let's apply that. I gotta undo that. Our editor tests need to reference both the dungeoneering kit as well as the editor scripts there. Click apply. Input system. Editor script. Has duplicate reference input system. Which one of these? What did I mess up here? Dungeoneering kit. Oh, there it is. This should only have the input system there. Hang on. Apply. I'm gonna catch up on the chat in just a moment. Sorry for the delay. Editor, Dungeoneering Kit, RPG Kit, yes, and then the editor should have our Dungeoneering Kit in there. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's see if I caught up here, because I was telling Dramulks I need to understand why it's not really great. It's performance-wise, on the long run, is not that great. There are other ways to do it, but to be honest, you don't have to worry about performance right now anyway, so people make things as they can. Yeah, so like if you're not worried about performance, if you're making like a high performance RPG with like amazing graphics, all sorts of stuff, yeah, you might want to worry about it. But if you're making a small game, it's not as big of an issue. And if you define it well, as far as like encapsulating, you know, whatever prefab you're using or classes, using interface and stuff, you should be able to use the strategy pattern to swap stuff out. So if you're designing it well, it shouldn't be crazy to refactor later. You know, if you've designed it well. Of course, that's a big if, right? Muna says it's not really a problem if you have a camera that only renders a single layer that you want to show to a texture. It isn't performance heavy. If you add a camera that renders everything, then it's heavy. So you are rendering everything twice. Yes, exactly. That said, I've thought about doing it. I think conceptually using it to make a game that's similar to Portal would be really, really interesting. All right, there's two more things I need to add. I need to add in maybe 3 more things. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just put Cinemachine in. Cinemachine, because that was just too cool. Cinemachine is just too awesome, so we're gonna put Cinemachine in. So we're gonna install Cinemachine. So Cinemachine, Pro Builder, and Text Mesh Pro. Those are the things we gotta install. Mooney says, I tried making portals 8 years ago. I never got them to render nicely. Always felt a bit flat. Oh, that was 8 years ago. Maybe not so hard now. Now that you're a pro. So we gotta get Pro Builder and install this in here. And then the last one is the Text Mesh Pro. And those, I think that's all of the stuff we need. And we need to make our, I'm not sure we need references to Pro Builder. I know I'm gonna need references to Text Mesh Pro in my Dungeoneering Kit assembly. And Cinemachine probably as well. So, get it set up. But yeah, I don't think it would be crazy hard to do where you have a render texture in the portal. But I don't know. Like you're saying, it might fall flat. It feels like that would be the way to do it, though. For me, Illuminati says, Mooniz, for me, I would use mini assets again in this era. I'll make I'm gonna change my name to Asset Guy. It's the Asset Guy, Text Mesh Pro. Oh, it's already installed. All right, Cinemachine. All right, so when I go to when I go to do a UI, Text Mesh Pro, import essentials. Okay, so they weren't imported. That's interesting. So we got to import those essentials first. And then I want to add them to our, I know I'm going to need them here. So that's going to be our Text Mesh Pro. Like that. And then Cinemachine. Like that. Beautiful. Save. All right. I think we got it. Moona says the render texture isn't the problem. You need to move the portal camera to give it depth. Just putting a camera and rendering it looks flat. Based on your own position, so it looks as if you're looking through a window and not looking at a picture. Gotcha. Well, you just gotta get good. Get good. Okay, so we set up our Unity project. We have the assemblies, I believe. And for being here, we got another easy one. We might make it to the bonus. Moona says, I wish I was good. Illuminating. I remember a game where you take a photo of a landscape and you can enter the landscape with your player and your world changes. That sounds That sounds really cool. That sounds like a really cool concept. So maybe you're, oh man, that sounds like a cool game. You're on like one side of a river. You can't get across there, but you take a picture and then you have the superpower to like go into the picture. That sounds really cool. But we got this easy one here. Well, boom, checking things off our list. Checked 1, checked 2, set up a Unity project, put our assemblies in. It's always nice to put some easy things on our list. But being here to witness this momentous occasion, 50 points to all of you. Thank you for being here. Jamos, that's right. We need to, we're already good. We just need to get better. All right, everybody. We are 1 hour in. I'm about to start on this next part here. Rather than taking a break in about 25 minutes. Rather than taking a break in 25 minutes, we're gonna take a break now. We're gonna take a break now. I'm not quite out of coffee, but I'm low enough. I'm low enough that I think a refill's in order. I am almost out of water as well, but we're gonna do some stretches when we get back. I know it's a little earlier than I normally do stretches, but it'll be good for us. So here's what I'm gonna tell you to do. While I get myself a refresh, while I take a look, get myself a refresh, you get your mom on the phone, get your dad, get your cousin, get your uncle, tell them, tune in. Captain Cody's about to do some stretches. Come on, get him in here. Get your dog, get your fish, get your turtle. Maybe you got a pet unicorn. Bring him on in. Because when I get back, we're going to do some stretching. So hang tight, find something to hold on to real quick, and I shall return. See you soon. All right, everybody, we're back. We're back. You know what that means? You know what that means? It's time for a good old stretch. Muniz says, the instructions were unclear. Told fish to stretch, now I live in the fishbowl. Mwah! My evil plan has come to fruition. We've trapped Muniz in the fishbowl. Excellent. You fell for my trap, my friend. And now you will be bold forever. Illuminati shared that game on Discord, by the way. Excellent, Illuminati. We'll check it out. Thank you again for sharing it. That was the Dark and Darker. Yeah. Thank you for posting that. I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay. Muniz then says, we'll look into it later. I rarely play games these days. I spend most of my time developing. If I start playing, then I get stuck playing. That's sort of how I feel. I usually only play games when I'm on vacation, because otherwise I get sucked in. In the past, I've also taken time off work explicitly. I mean, like, I'm going to take 3 days off because I want to play this game that's coming out. All right, here we go. Everybody up. If you in the back, I see you back there. Get up on your feet. We're going to do some stretching. Because if you're sitting at a desk all day, if you're programming all day, if you're hunched over like a programming troll, like a coder troll, you know, hunched over like a coding troll, like this. This is how we look. Look, coding trolls, not so good. Get up. We're gonna get some stretches in. Oh, Dramux, I'm sorry. I got a little bit too close there. It just means you were too close to the screen. If you weren't so close to the screen, I want to have poked you in the eye. Get up. We're gonna do some stretching. Here. All right, everybody. We're gonna do my favorite stretch. We're gonna stretch our forearms out. Take that hand. Keep that arm straight. Don't lock the elbow. You don't want to lose all that blood flow. Straight but not locked. Grab those fingertips and pull them back slowly. Oh yeah. Doesn't that feel good? If it hurts, you're pulling too hard. Don't hurt yourself. Your body needs to be loved a little bit, though. Give it that stretch. 5 more seconds here. Just hold it. Ooh yeah. Doesn't that feel good? Excellent. Yeah, we did stretch. We're stretching a little bit early today. We got our first 2 goals, and we're moving to the throne. All right, shake it out just a little bit. Now we're going to go the other way. We're going to pull down. Now you're stretching across the top here. Keep that arm. Put those fingers down. Pull down slowly, and feel it extend there. Shouldn't hurt. You shouldn't feel pain in your wrist. Be careful that you don't feel pain in the wrist when you do it. But go ahead and pull down on there. Oh yeah. Ooh, doesn't it feel good? Yeah. Don't hurt yourself, though. We're just giving ourselves a little self-love, making sure that we are keeping ourselves nice and limber. Get that blood flowing back to our fingertips. All right. Shake that one out a little bit. We're going to do the other hand now. Maybe a little bit of a wrist roll in there. Ooh, yeah. Roll that wrist for a couple seconds. We don't normally do that one, but roll that wrist around. Maybe go the other way. Clockwise. Ooh. Yeah. All right. Get that other hand. This is exactly Illuminati. You gotta get your father in the room. Do some stretches with them. Let him know. Hey, Dad, Father, get in here. We're stretching with the Captain Coder. All right. Next arm. Get up. Don't lock that elbow. Keep that arm straight, but don't lock the elbow. Here we go. We're gonna just pull back there. Pull back on it. Don't hurt yourself, though. See, you guys are all lovely people. Guys and gals, sorry if I offended. Everyone here, you're a lovely, beautiful person who deserves to be loved. And the first person to love you should be you. You should love yourself. Love your body. Give it the love it deserves. Oh, yeah. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Oh, yeah. All right. 5 more seconds. Then you know the drill. We're going to switch directions. All right, we're going to roll it out a little bit. Shake it out. Then we're going to go down. Pull down. Don't hurt yourself. If that hurts your wrist, you're doing it too hard. You don't want to be too hard on yourself. You want to give yourself some. Oh, yeah. It should feel good. Ooh, I haven't done this one in a couple days, I think, because, man, it's feeling a little tender and nice. Feels wonderful. 10 more seconds here. 10 more seconds. Just hold it 5 more seconds. We got it. But you deserve to be loved. Love yourself. Because you're a lovely person. All right, shake it out. Shake it out. All right. Give yourself, stretch back here like this. Bring it back and then come forward. Bring those arms around. Grab those shoulder blades if you can. Give yourself a nice hug. Stretch it out a little bit. Pull those shoulder blades forward. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When you got it nice and tight, take a deep breath there. Should be a little constricted. Don't hurt yourself, though. And then exhale. As you exhale, see if you can inch those fingers forward a little bit more. Just hold that hug in nice and tight. Get those stretches in. 5 more seconds. 5 more seconds. Then we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. Oh, yeah, felt good. And then my favorite, shoulder rolls. We're gonna do both at the same time. We're starting back. Back. 2, 3, 4. With the elbows. 2, 3, 4. Full on. 2, 3, 4. Bring it forward. 2, 3, 4. Add the elbows. 2, 3, 4. Full on. 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, got that blood flowing. We're back in the game. We're back in the game to go here. All right, and for joining me in those stretches, everyone, thank you so much. I'm just gonna assume I know you in the back. I saw you not stretching, but since you're here, I'm just gonna pretend you did. I'm gonna pretend you did. Grandma, sorry if I got you in the eye again, my friend. 50 points. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me in that stretch today. It was wonderful for me. I hope it was good for you. I hope it was good for you. But we're gonna hop back in here. So we're gonna build a cell, a prefab to represent a single cell inside of our grid, right? So just anyone who's just joining us, we're creating an RPG dungeon generator, and the idea is each in the we're gonna have a text file. Here, let me get a text file open here. Let's open this up. Sure, yeah, I want to click apply. I didn't click apply apparently. We got to do a commit too. Haven't committed. Do a little commit here saying that we got our initial assembly definitions. Repository is found. Yes. Open repository. Oh no. Here we go. Come on. There it goes. It found it. It found it. Yes. All right. So chore. Add initial libraries and assembly definitions. All right, we're gonna commit and push that. Oh, I didn't actually click this add button. Oh, I did, never mind. Okay, so the idea is I want to have, let me create a folder here called example dungeon, example maps. All right, create a new file. We'll have a file that looks sort of like this, example.txt. The idea is, Proton Fig, happy Monday, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. So nice to see you here. Anyone who doesn't know, shout out. Shout out. Proton Fig is an awesome, awesome streamer. You gotta go. You gotta hit that. See that little, everyone, direct your attention to the chat, please. All lurkers, please direct your attention to the chat momentarily. We have a very special guest in the chat. Please direct your attention to the chat. All right, everybody, in that chat box, this little heart button right here, click that. You got to go check out Proton Fig. Does some awesome, awesome music stuff on his stream. Love it. I go over there and I just leave it on running because I love listening to it. It's good stuff. Proton, tell us a little bit more about what you do. I think it's like Commodore 64 programming audio. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, click that little heart button. Gotta go check him out. It's a great place to just sit and it's my favorite place to lurk. I hope you don't mind that I lurk there, Proton, but it's one of my favorite places to lurk. That's good. That coffee's good. All right. So the idea is I have maps that sort of look like this. I'm not 100% sure what the format's going to be just yet. because I think we're gonna need spaces between each one of these dots, but I want a format that looks kind of like this. Kind of like this. And then maybe we'd have a door as a hash or something. But you define your maps this way, and then it can be rendered into the screen. So the idea is each cell is something that's going to be a prefab in Unity. And then we're going to read this file, and we're just going to chunk all those prefabs next to each other. There's going to be some challenges with the walls to make the walls textures line up perfectly. And so we might actually make it say like, oh, well, if we have two walls together, splice them together and they just use the same wall texture across. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, but we're going to create a prefab specifically for a cell, give it a floor, and we're going to give it some walls around the edges. Proton Fig says, reminds me about Rogue 64 Progress with Ricky worked out the dungeon creation algorithm. Yeah, so it's my first time really doing a procedural generation type thing. So that's what I want to learn this time. On this project, my whole goal is to learn a little bit about procedural generation, and then also how to make a 2D grid movement. I've done it before, but I did it like in a really, really hacky way. So I have 3 goals on this project. Let's bring up my design document here of what I want to learn. For anyone who's just joining us, here's what I want to learn on this project. All right, come on, focus. I want to learn, this is what we're not going to do on this project. I want to learn about procedural generation. This one's a little bit fuzzy, but I want to learn how to make Unity editors. So like an actual editor in Unity. So our text editor is going to be in Unity. It's going to be like a painting program a little bit. And then grid-based movement. Those are the 3 things that I want to do on version 0 that I want to learn about. Hopefully this will take us about, a couple days, maybe a week to do in it. The biggest part, I think, is going to be these 2 sections, the procedural generation. I have some ideas on how to do it. I'm going to be doing a little bit more reading to see if I can get like a more clear picture in my head. And then the editor stuff is going to be essentially brand new to me, almost brand new. I've done a little bit of it with custom editors on mono behaviors, but I've not done like a custom editor window, and that's the thing I want to get in there. Grid-based movement I think is going to be pretty straightforward to implement, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it just yet. All right, so those are the goals. Those are the things I want to learn on this project. But yeah, so we're going to start out by so today, what is this goal number 3? Create a grid cell prefab and add it to Unity scene. So the idea is we're going to have a cell. So let's create a prefab in our assets here. Create prefab. Nope, that's not what I want. I wanted to create a folder prefabs. And we're going to create a prefab called a cell. So this is going to be grid cell. So the single XY position on our grid. So a question that I have, there's a question that maybe I need to define. So I think our text format doesn't matter that much yet, but the question I have is, do I want my walls to take up an entire cell, or do they sort of sit between cells, right? So should my wall actually be more along this line, so it takes up a whole square, or does my text file, and I think I don't want to do it this way. I think this would be a little too simplistic for what I want to do. I think I want my walls to be able to straddle a cell. So instead, I would have a space like that. Every cell is essentially defined by a nine text units. So each cell is actually looks more like this. So I could have a wall. Does that make sense? Did the thing I just say make sense? So that if there was no wall between these things, there'd be a space. So just blank space, and this represents that there's nothing between those, but there's a spot here for a wall that I could put in. All right, so I think that's how I want to define it. And so like something like even cells or something are floor information, and odd cells our wall information. That's the idea I currently have. All right, I hope that makes sense. But the idea would be like if I wanted to put, so these would all need to have one more space between them. Like this, yeah, this looks fine to me. Again, making the editor will be interesting. And similar, top to bottom, they would also have a space where you could potentially put a wall between them. So it looked like this, where this room is actually, what would we say? So let me make it a little bit, let me make it a square. So right now it's what, 5 by 3. All right, so this room would be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall with spots. I could put a wall here like that. And that would actually be a wall that if you're in this spot, the walls are essentially straddle the cells rather than taking up an entire cell. I think I like that style better than the wall taking up an entire cell. Although a wall taking up an entire cell would be easier to do. So I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I should make it so the wall takes up the whole cell. That might be that'd be simpler. That would be much simpler. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. A wall takes, all right. I take it back. Wall takes up a whole cell. So Unity Coder, it's not quite the same as having a separate layer for walls, right? Because I need to be able to specify which so that each cell could have up to 4 walls next to it. Each cell could have up to 4 walls next to it, so I couldn't just have a different layer. This is why I said I actually need space between them. MMOpugs, the text file reminds me of an old BM. Is it called Dungeon Master? Because that's exactly what I'm implementing here. Is it called Dungeon Master by John Daly? Hang on, let me find it. Dungeon Master. John Daly. Come on. Was it this game? So it's based on, it's like Bard's Tale-esque, but you have your maps that sort of look like this thing. Because I absolutely loved this game. My dad made all kinds of mods for this. I'm gonna put it says, I think it was Dungeon Master, but the particular BBS I used called it Hack, and D would represent the dog. Gotcha. But yeah, my dad made a bunch of extensions. So this had like the Dungeon Master construction kit, and you could make your own little adventures in it. NetHack's another one. NetHack, I don't know if maybe you could play that on a BBS. I'm not sure. I did NetHack. NetHack was just an interface. So NetHack was like this, right? So the walls in NetHack take up the whole cell. And it's not 3D, but there was like an isometric view you could get. I did like NetHack. That was good stuff. All right. But I think I'm gonna actually make it to simplify my life. Proton says, now we are porting Rogue 64 to Amiga where it's called Roguecraft. That sounds cool. So I think I changed my mind. I actually think I'm just gonna make it so walls take up, to simplify my life. To simplify my life, walls are gonna actually take up a whole cell. Let's not get too complicated. We're gonna make it take up the whole cell, so the walls are a whole cell thick. King Zoldak, good morning, happy Monday, my friend. Welcome back. So nice to see you, Zoldak. How are you today? How have you been? Haven't seen you in a few days, but it's so nice to see you. Welcome back to the crew. Welcome back to the crew. So yeah, I think we're gonna actually make the walls take up a whole cell, and that will just make things simpler. I used to play NetHack a lot when I was younger too. So good, so good. The one thing here's the thing though. If I make it this way, all right, I'm thinking ahead here. I might want to be able to put like fixtures on the side of walls, And so then my walls need, okay, we'll just make it so that the walls, there's some like metadata associated with a wall that you can say, okay, northeast, southwest, there's an indentation on it. You can set the northeast, southwest texture of a wall. That's what we're gonna do. I like that a little bit better. Simplifies stuff a little bit for me. All right, so our grid cell here is gonna be our prefab. Every cell is gonna have a floor. King Zoldak says, thank you, I'm not too bad. Working on this new collectible card game, my first major project, out of tutorial hell. Nice. Like so a digital, let me clarify. It's a digital collectible card game. Is it inspired by like Magic or Hearthstone? Is that sort of the idea? Is it similar to those? I'm not gonna say that exact thing, but inspired by. All right, so I want to create a cube to represent our floor. And I'm gonna make the cube shape properties. Can I just specify that I want to be 1 by 1? We'll just put this out here. All right. So I'm gonna make it 1 by 0.25 by 1. Maybe that's too small. Maybe it should be 5 by 5. That seems to be the way I've been doing things anyway. All right, we'll put it in the center here. Okay, so this is gonna be our floor. Like that. Yes, it is. No, just cards that you can collect. The player has to open packs and see what they get. Okay, so it's not like a playable card game. It's just like you open packs and you collect cards. Correct me if I'm wrong. That sounds like what you're describing to me. I could be wrong, though. I'm often wrong. I'm a simpleton. I'm wrong all the time. Our floor, we want to be able to specify the texture on the floor. This is interesting, actually. This is really interesting in my mind. I'm going, okay, well, I have a floor, it has a texture, and then you tile them together. But my floor actually needs to be able to expand or something based on like the connected tiles. We'll see how we do. Hang on, we're gonna go generate a floor texture. Gotcha. King Zoldak, thank you for the clarification. That sounds, I've never done anything like that. That sounds pretty neat. Texture generator. All right, we're gonna generate a floor texture using Polycam here. I'm gonna just do dungeon floor cobblestone. See if we get a texture here for our floor. And we're gonna tile them together. But yeah, there's gonna be more information with our floor. We wanna make it so that way you can specify various, you can, in the grid cell here, you'll be able to specify things. There'll be like check boxes you click, say, make it a floor, make it a wall, make it a this, make it a that. This looks awesome. This cobblestone looks really good. This one looks also quite good as well. These three look great. This one, not so much. I really like this one. This is gonna be our default floor texture. Let's go ahead and get that in there. So we're gonna come and we're gonna create a folder for materials, and we're gonna create a folder called floors. We're gonna create a folder called cobblestone. Do I have too many folders already? Cobblestone. Let's go ahead and extract these here. Yikes, what is it saying? There's already a folder called texture 11. All right, well, let's extract to, one moment. Bear with me. All right, it becomes very easy to add 10,000 folders. So we're gonna pull this in to our scene here, and we're gonna create a material. It's gonna be our cobble. Is cobblestone 1 or 2 words? Cobblestone, 1 word. Got it. Perfect. All right. And this will be our albedo. We're gonna make this our normal. And Tani would be proud of me. Tani, are you proud? I click fix it now. I didn't forget to fix it. All right, we'll put it in there. What level do we want that to be? I can never quite. Smoothness, no smooth. Smoothness, no smooth. That looks all right. That looks all right. Unicorn said other option would be a procedural mesh. Yeah, so I was thinking that. I was thinking that if there's floors connected together, it will automatically generate. Maybe we'll do that. That might be really fun to do. But this, I think this might be a placeholder or something. Yeah, so that's exactly my thought, Unity Coder, that I was having was, oh, these aren't going to tile perfectly together, I don't think. So let's go check it out. If I come into my scene, let's create an empty called tiles or grid. I'm going to call this grid. If I were to add in copies of this prefab, they're not going to tile together well. So this tells me that my cell instead, my cell instead sort of needs to find its neighbors. Let's see what it looks like though. I've put it at 0, 0, 0. And then we duplicate another one, we put it at 5. Do those at, oh, never mind, they tile fine. Can we see so we're not using physics, so there's not gonna be like a bump between it. They tile fine. They tile totally fine. All right, yeah, I thought there was going to be an issue where they wouldn't actually tile and you could really see like a difference on them, but they seem to tile just perfect. They tile fine. I don't quite understand why they tile so well, but they do, and I'm okay with that. All right, so when we have a wall, it's going to take up the entire thing, so we won't, yeah. So I guess that's okay. So we're gonna make a cell here. We're gonna add a script to this. All right, we're gonna add a script. And as usual, I'm gonna call it a renderer. So I'm gonna create a folder here called renderer. And inside, maybe I should call it render, I'm not sure. But this is gonna be like a sub package. We'll find out, we might change it, but it's gonna be our tile renderer. And really, there's going to be different types of tiles. There's going to be a floor tile. There's going to be a wall tile. Those are the two that we have right now. But as we get further into it, we'll have different categories of renderers. But or maybe we should call it grid cell renderer. It's going to be real upset with me because I didn't change it here. It's going to be our grid cell renderer. And keep in mind when I say render, maybe renderer is a bad name here. It doesn't actually render anything. It contains information on how it should be rendered. And so our grid cell is going to have a renderer on it. And my idea is you can select what type of cell this is. All right, so this will be our grid cell renderer. And it's going to have an enum on it. All right, so it's going to have an enum. This is going to be our public enum. Hang on real quick. I'm going to add this to a namespace. Namespace Captain Coder.dungeoneering. I don't know if I need to add it to anything else, but this is essentially part of our map. So let's format document. I might put this in like UI or something. It doesn't actually render on a HUD, so I'm not sure if that makes sense, but grid cell render, maybe I should put it in, I'm gonna leave it CaptainCoder.dungeoneering. I'm fine with that for now. But we need a cell type. All right, so we're gonna do public enum. And right now we have two cell types. This is cell type. And we have a cell type that is floor and wall. Those are the two cell types we have. Okay, and then our grid cell renderer is you're gonna have a drop down where you select one of them. So public cell type, type is a terrible name because it conflicts. Grid cell type, what do I want to call this? Grid, or maybe I just call it cell type. This gets confusing because I need to do cell type dot stuff. A better name would be type of cell. There we go. I'm bad at naming, but we got it. We'll make this a property and we'll serialize it. Field, serialize field. So you want to be able to check that type of cell, I think. All right. So in our menu here, the idea is the following. You're going to select the type of cell it is, and this is going to cause it to either be a floor, and if there's a wall here, then it's going to render the wall. So we'll go ahead and put in wall. We're going to add in a wall, and our wall is going to actually sit atop this. So I'm going to move it up 0.25, so it sits atop it. We're going to get a different texture, and it's going to be slightly smaller. So I'm going to actually, maybe it doesn't even need to be slightly smaller. In fact, maybe its Y just becomes, can I make it bigger? Let's make it, we got to make it taller. Make it taller. Didn't let me just edit this. Interesting that I can't just edit it. I'm not sure why, but our wall is going to come out. I want it to be 5 units tall, essentially, like the height of the map or whatever. All right, so tools, let me open up that, not what I wanted. Tools, editor, vertex editor. Can I reset shape? Shape properties. Here we go. I got to edit it here. Should be 5 tall. Oh, and then I want it to be on top. Is it actually on top? What's going on here? Where is? It's not. It's not. So it's like 5 from the center or something. Ooh, I got to get my snapping working. My snapping's not set as well. Snap all accesses. There we go. Are we snapping now? Am I not? Oh, I just have to click snapping. There we go. Now we're snapping. Need to go up one more click. All right, so we're on top of it. Yeah, it needs to be the full width so that if you put walls together, it will tile okay. Maybe the 5 just happened to work out perfectly for the time because this one doesn't work. Or if it was the same, if I think it was the same height, it would work. But anyway, we're gonna need a different wall texture anyway. We might use one of these, but these seem a little bit, well, let's try this. I was gonna think of a different type of stone wall. But this one looks pretty good too. We're gonna save this just because I like that one. This one's all right too. We're gonna save all of these. I can't help myself. I gotta save them. Gotta save them all, Pokemon style. All right, dungeon wall, rock. We'll go with dungeon rock wall, something like that. Let's see what it looks like if we do this. And we might end up just using that texture, the second texture it downloaded here. Ooh, that looks like a castle wall. I like that one. That one's not bad. This one's not great. This one's kind of terrible, actually. It just got confused on the generation. This one looks all right. These ones look like castle walls. Might be okay for dungeon. We'll go with this one here, just for now. Go ahead and download this. We'll call this one dungeon wall. Show in the folder. Let's go ahead and come back to our materials, floors. We're gonna have walls now. Create folder, walls. And here we're gonna do, what did I call this one? This is like a castle wall. We'll just call it rock wall. Stone. What would we call this? What does this look like to people? This looks kind of like a castle stone. I'm gonna call it castle stone. Castle stone. All right, let's go ahead and get those textures added in. God, this tool is fantastic. What did we do before AI? You had to be good. You had to be good. Now I can be lazy and bad. All right, create a new material. Like so. We're gonna call this our castle stone material. And give it an albedo, give it some normals. Fix those normals. We're gonna slap that on there. That actually doesn't look that great. I actually don't like that one very much. I don't like that one. The way all right, hang on. Maybe if I made it so that the tiling is 5, not a point. Ooh. There we go. Making it 0.2 seems to be all right. What does it look like if I put 2 of them together? Does it tile okay? It doesn't look great. I don't like this one. I don't like this one. We're gonna see if we can get a different one. G says I'm lazy too. I mean, for prototypes, it's fantastic. If I was making a game that I was planning on like marketing and selling, I might see if I could get, let's try 0.5. Does that tile better? It just looks so repetitive. I really don't like how repeating it looks. Yeah, it's a little bit too pillar-esque or something. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. All right, I don't like it. We're gonna get rid of that one. Goodbye. All right, we're gonna try again. Dungeon wall. Slab. Let's try slab. Or maybe I could have put stone. I could have put stone in there. The cobblestone looked great for the floor. That worked out nicely. Not so good on that one. Too chunky. Looks like baked beans to me. And I don't want a baked bean wall. Moonraymer says, yo, making a new game 3D. Good question, Moonraymer. We are, I like this one. We are making a dungeon generator. A dungeon generator. So it's not a game. It's a dungeon generator. And then we're going to have like, the first version is not going to be a game. I want to get a generator working using procedural generation. We're trying to get a nice dungeon wall going. But the idea is that we're going to be able to take maps that sort of look like this, generate 2D maps, have an editor where you can modify them, and then create these maps that you could walk around in. But it's not going to be a game, so to speak. This is just a tool for building 3D grid. Sorry, 3D is wrong. 2D grid-based maps that get rendered in 3 dimensions. So the Unity engine will render it in 3 dimensions, but under the hood, it's just going to be a 2D grid. And the motivation, in some ways, yes, procedural generation. The motivation is to do some procedural generation. So my goals, let me show you my docs, my goals for this project of what I want to learn. What do I want to learn on this project? Come on, focus. There it goes. I want to learn how to do some procedural generation. I have some ideas. I want to be able to take 2D files that represent our maps and generate them in that format. But specifically, I want to create a Unity editor. I've never really done true Unity editors. I've done mono behavior custom editors. But I want to do like an actual editor where I have a menu I can click from the top. So I like click a drop down, select map editor, click generate, and then have like a button on it that says like insert into scene, and it'll take it and drop it into the scene for us. And then I want to implement grid-based movement with 90-degree camera rotations. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is there's a game jam coming up in April that I want to participate in. That is the Dungeon Crawler Jam. And this is it's all about grid-based dungeon crawlers. All right, so my goal is to build this up, to understand how to do it, have maybe a little library for doing it, and not making an RPG, but making a tool to making dungeons in an RPG easier. All right, so we are putting together a grid cell, and right now we have a wall type and a floor type. We're trying to find a good texture trying to generate a good texture for our dungeon wall. I don't like either of these either. Let's try going with a rock. What would be good here? Rock. I want rock. Maybe stone. Stone, bricks, wet. Let's see if wet stone bricks. Because that would be like dungeony, danky. Or cave wall. Maybe I search for cave wall. That might be something that would come up with a reasonable texture. That one might work. That one seems okay-ish. This one's terrible. Not gonna use that one for sure. Come on. It's like playing the lottery. Come on, give me something. Give me something I can use. This one's too uniform. I know it's not entirely uniform, but the way they're sitting next together doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This one looks like it might be okay for a wall, for a brick. I'm gonna download that one and just check it out. I was gonna do cave, underground cave walls. Let's see if that gives anything. I'm gonna import this one as a brick real quick in a moment. Bear with me. But Moonray, welcome back, my friend. Happy Monday. Welcome aboard. How are you? How are you? That looks kind of cool. That looks kind of cool. Looks a little fuzzy, stalactite E. All right, so walls. We'll go down here with castle. The castle stone. Bring these in. See what castle stone looks like. Create another. Where's our material button? Material castle stone. Set the albedo, set the normals, fix it, fix it. Let's drag that onto our wall here. One sec. Castle stone resets. Why didn't that work? Hang on. Scene. Albedo, normals. We're good there. Moonray says, cheers. Pretty chill. Got Godot. I should always say Godot. Godot open on my main screen. Currently trying to get transform 2D to flip properly for my enemies. Nice. Oh yeah, thank you so much for sharing the little clip of your game. Looks awesome. Looks so cool. I want to play it. What's going on in my scene here? These apparently revert all. What is going on? Why don't these want to render? Hang on. Get rid of those. Prefabs, add in a couple of these. What did I do? I broke something horribly. G says, I'm still planning to install Godot 4.2. Are you using 4.0? Wrong moon. Moonray, are you still using it? Yeah. This is crazy to me. Why is this showing up this way? Does anyone... Can I reload my sample scene? Scenes, create new scene, test scene. There we go. There's just something caught up there. That's always interesting when that happens. This looks all right. This one doesn't look horrible. Let's duplicate these again and move them around. They should be off by 5. So we can see what the corners look like too. So coming around, I actually think this one looks pretty good. It's not quite, doesn't have quite the depth on it that I want, but let's look at the castle wall, castle stone. Too much. Yeah. That actually looks pretty good there. I like that. Can I make it a little thicker? 0.25. I like that. Corners are a little awkward there on that side. Let's 0.5. There we go. That looks reasonable. I like that. You can't see the seam. Well, you can. Never mind. You can see the seam. So we might do something where it actually generates with a high resolution mesh. Could use height map to add actual bumps. Yeah. again, you know, Unicoder, if I was gonna spend a lot of time doing it, maybe on the actual game jam, if I have a team, maybe someone's focused on making the textures and stuff for the walls, that'd be really cool. Yeah, this thing doesn't seem to, if I put it on 1, I'm just kind of surprised that it tiles so well on 1. What would I have to do? Oh, I guess the offset is what it is, 0.5, 0.5. You'd have to like adjust the offset or something to get it perfect. Or there might not be a specific offset that actually lines it up. But it's a little bit awkward there. That's okay. We'll put it on 1. I don't quite understand that. I don't quite understand it. But yeah, we could make it so generate a dynamic mesh so it calculates the mesh of the wall and does it. Same with the floor. We might do something like that. Not 100% sure. Not 100% sure what we're going to do. But this is fine for now. The idea though is a grid cell. You select your type, floor or wall, and that will automatically convert it to between the floor. So if floor is selected, then the wall doesn't exist there, right? So you end up with that. But like all of the cells are equivalent sizes. They get laid out in a grid in a nice pleasing manner is what we'll say. Nice pleasing manner. Let's get one more here that goes in 5.5, and we can also turn that off as well. So something that I would like to do is we're gonna make, I think, a custom script here. So when we change this, it'll automatically do that for us. So it goes and it finds the thing inside, and it will go ahead and turn it on or off for us. Yeah. And then when the game runs, so this is just in there, when the game actually runs, it might actually dispose of this thing, or it might swap in a floor and a tile. But we'll probably always have the floor. And our editor, though, we might get a different thing here. So I want to add in a custom grid cell renderer editor that when I swap this thing out, actually turns those things on and off. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, so where did we go wrong? I hit a button. I hit the P button that opens up pencil. Okay, so this grid cell render kind of need a reference to the game object inside. One is our floor and one is our wall. One is our floor, one is our wall, and I want to just go in and find it. I'm gonna keep floor and wall. I'm gonna use the name. Someone tell me if this is a terrible idea. Someone tell me if this is a terrible idea. Oh, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna add in a floor render and a wall render. That's what we're gonna do. And the grid cell render is gonna find the floor, find the wall inside. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna create a new floor renderer, and then we'll have in this doesn't have a cell type. It's gonna be our floor renderer. It will have a material, and this is the material it's gonna have on it. Material. This will actually just be private. No, it'll be public like that. We'll be able to set it from above. And the thing is, when it changes, it's gonna force it to change underneath. All right. There it goes. All right, this is gonna have a material on it. Don't have to reopen you. And we'll have one more of this. It's gonna be a wall renderer like this. Wall renderer. And then our grid cell can just find those. It says, oh, I should have a floor render. I should have a wall render. Let me go find them under the hood inside. And then when you select these things, it's going to turn them on or off. All right, so we'll have a floor. Let's go into our prefab. Prefab here. So our wall is going to have a wall renderer. And the material is this thing. Is that right? Ooh. Or does the thing have a material? Because it's like the material that we want to set. Okay, so I need to figure out how to dynamically change. Because my question is this referencing the castle stone material, or does it? Oh, this thing must have like a. Is this a shader? Or it's part of the mesh renderer, I think. So if we were to swap this material out, hang on. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. That's the shader. Okay, but if I were to swap out, I have a question. I have a thought. If I were to swap this out. Yeah, so I need a reference to the mesh renderer. So it's the material that we want. And what's going to happen is this material is going to get set. It's going to update the mesh renderer material. Got it. Got it. Dramulks, thank you. That at the bottom is the shader. The shader is the same. All right. But I want to be able, whatever material gets set here, it needs to update this. So this thing needs to have a mesh renderer on it as well. Your material field will set the mesh render field. Well, not if this material, right? We'll set it, but not this one here. I want this when I set this to update that automatically. If I swap this out, nothing happens. Right? I haven't made that actually do anything. You make a method that also sets the mesh render. Exactly. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do here. So we're gonna tell this thing that it has a mesh render on it. So this thing has a private. Well, really, I'm gonna do this. This thing has a public mesh renderer. Renderer. So you don't have to set it in the insert. You so have an action or something. That's what this is gonna do. Don't worry, I got it. I got this. This is gonna do exactly what I want. I don't even have to do a Unity event. It's gonna be a method. It's gonna be a method here. This will be a method. This is really gonna be a private thing here. Private mesh renderer. And it's going to look like this. It's going to say if renderer is null, renderer equals get component mesh renderer. And then return renderer, and then on awake renderer is going to equal get component mesh renderer. Sort of the same thing. I guess I could do. This feels weird, but essentially I'm going to initialize this thing. All right, so this is going to get it. And what we're going to do is this is going to be a set. All right, so there's no get on this. There might be a get. We'll have an underlying field. I'm going to add in a custom editor anyway. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a custom editor, but the idea is when we go to set this thing, let's get rid of the get real quick. But the idea is when we go to set this thing, I guess we'll have a get on it as well. Let's do a private material. This is gonna just get our material. When we set this, in addition to setting material equals value, we're also gonna get our renderer dot materials. Dot material. Can I do just dot material? What's this? Returns the first instantiated material assigned to the renderer. Can I set this to material? Right, so the idea is I have this, and then in my custom editor, when you drop it in that slot, it's just gonna set the material like that. So I'm pretty sure this will be all right. Dremel says, by the way, I think you could use the on value change route if it exists for normal Unity on the material field, and it can run that method when you drag it. Ooh, on value changed. On value changed. Let's see if we can find the attribute on value changed. Unity on value changed. There's a slider. It could be a custom attribute. We could essentially we might be able to make an attribute that does that. It's an Odin. Yeah, you could make your own. We could make an attribute that does that, but that's essentially sort of what I want. That would be really nice to have. It's just Odin already has it, which is nice. I don't know what Odin is, but on validate does something. On validate. Okay, Unity on validate. On validate. Editor only function that Unity calls when the script is loaded or a value changes in the inspector. Ooh. Or when it's changed. All right, so let's try on validate. Moonnis has mentioned this one to me before, and mentioned like there's some level of danger in it on lots of stuff in your scene. But let's try that. On validate. So on validate, you should not use callback to do other tasks such as create object or call other non-threads safe. Slap that method inside on validate and call it a day. Exactly. Well, you know, so it's gonna say that you know, so the idea, so I'm not sure. What we might do is we might say material equals material on validate. That feels interesting because this would cause this to set and then it sets itself. It doesn't. Okay, there's not an infinite loop here. It's not an infinite loop. Are these objects staying in scene or they get instantiated? Okay, so we have a none here. All right. Oh, I need to serialize this. Serialize field. Bear with me. Let's bear down together. Hey, that's kind of cool. Okay, so that does work. They might get instantiated because the wall pop in place. They should not get instantiated during runtime, but only in the editor. That's my idea, is like you use this to generate it, and then essentially it'll like delete stuff out. So in editor only is the idea. All right, so now the idea would be if I select an individual one of these that, let's enable this one. All right. And this one, so this is interesting. This is cool. I was thinking I'd have to make a custom editor, but this might not require that. All right, so now though, if I edit this here, it changes just that one. That's cool. Thank you so much. Who recommended on validate? Unity Coder. Thank you for that. Add points. Unity Coder 50 points. Thank you so much for that recommendation. Oh, okay, so it creates scenes, not loading map at runtime, and generate there. Yeah, so this is the idea is that these generate in the editor. So there are things that'll generate in the editor, you know, and so you'll end up with your map. Moon is asked, how are we doing? We're doing pretty well here. I do have a question for you, Moon. As you had mentioned that on validate potentially like makes things super slow. Yeah, so the idea is that I want it to change when something in the inspector changes. So I specifically want it to call this when I do that. So that's exactly what we want. I want it when we make a change in the inspector of that one thing, I want it to call it. So that's what we want. But it will also run on validate when you change position, open a fold out for another, or click in objects. Let me make sure that's true. Editor only function that calls when the script is loaded or a value changes in the inspector. Use this to perform an action after a value changes in the inspector. For example, make sure that the data stays within a certain range. Should not use this callback to do other tasks, such as create objects or call other non-thread safe Unity API. Should only use it to validate data that has changed. This restriction is because only validate can be called often when the user interacts. All right, so what we'll do then, is we'll say if, hang on, because this is interesting. All right, this could turn into a pain, right? If that's the case. So if I move this, I don't think it actually, I think it changes. Oh, good call, Moonness. Yeah. Called on validate. Good call. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted to check. It's like, when is this being called? So it does. So every time the scene changes is interesting. It doesn't call it when I move stuff. Oh, when I didn't undo it did. Hang on. So it didn't do it when I did that. Let's not collapse it. It's calling it just on this one thing, which feels okay-ish. What if I move the whole cell? All right. That, I think I'm kind of okay with it. It's only gonna be, all right, so change anything in the inspector that isn't related. Yeah, so in the 7, does not call it. All right, when I undo, it modified it, so the undo does it. All right, this wall is the thing that has it on. Like a component, okay. Mesh collider. Did not call it. If I edit this component, this is the wall render. If I edit the wall render component, it's gonna do it. Yeah, so this is actually nice. This is kind of nice. When I do undo, it needs to do a validation. Right? So it does it, but only for that one thing. It doesn't do it for all of them. So it's like, okay, I think there's like, so if I move them all and then undo it, I'm gonna get one on each one, which makes sense. Is this wall render? It's on each one of these things here. So my option is I could also make a custom editor. The idea is I wanted to be able to do the following. I wanted to be able to specify the material like that and have it update. Which wall render did I change? Oh, this one's disabled anyway. I want to be able to edit this in the editor and it will update the mesh renderer. So basically I want a thing to be able to set that value to some wall type and then it will update the mesh render's material. That's what I want it to do. And so I could make a custom editor is the other option. But it seems like this was simpler. Yeah, when I set this, it just changes the mesh material. It changes this material here. And so I sort of want to be able to do that programmatically from the grid cell renderer. So this kind of works. We'll see if it gets super horrible and painful. Because, like I said, the other option would be to... the other option would be to create a custom editor for the wall renderer, which if I might end up having to do anyway. But this made it simple. We were also talking about making potentially a on change or validate on change attribute. That was like another option that we had talked about doing. Which would, or put it on this thing here. So on change validate, and that would cause this. So if you edit this in the, so what I want is when you edit this in the inspector, it sets this thing. Moona says, just don't do it a lot. We had a project where it was a lot of nested things in the UI that used on validate. Every time I changed something, it took 5 seconds to load. Yeah, that's why I was saying I wanted to be careful. If this was gonna, if I touch something and it causes on validate to run on everything, that would be horrible. Also, this on validate should be super quick. I kind of want to put a thing in here that says, well, if material is equal to material do nothing, right? But the get here this is actually already that, so this will always be true. What I could do, here's what I could do. I could say if my if renderer dot material is equal to material, we don't do it. There we go. So this will say, okay, don't actually do it. Don't actually change this value unless we need to. So we have a quick stop. We have a quick stop there. Instantiating material due to render.material during edit mode. This will link in materials into the scene. You most likely want to use render.shaded shared material instead. All right, well. Maybe we won't do that. Something terrible. Something that told us not to do this. I'm gonna leave it alone for now. But yeah, every time I come back to my scene, it has to set the materials. That could be not so good. That'll definitely increase the loading time here. For now, I'm gonna leave it. For now, I'm gonna leave it. I'm okay with it for the time being. But we should consider, all right, so I'm gonna put a thing here to note to ourselves. Note, this is called every time the, every time scripts compile, and every time the component changes, and every time undo is clicked, is used, undo, redo is used on on this component / parent component, on this game object / parent. So that, you know, this could be, you know, could be major performance hits if things seem slow. Make a custom editor might be the way to go. All right, so in fact, that is probably the way to go. Remember how I said I want to learn how to do Unity editor stuff? Maybe we should just do it. If you set it programmatic, things that share a material should use shared material and not dot material. So I should do shared material. Let's see if that works. Let's take a look. Let's see if that still works. So it didn't change. So I'm assuming it worked, but oh, so let's try it one more time. If renderer dot shared material is not equal to material, or is equal to material, do nothing. Shared is then what we want, Muniz. Muniz, thank you so much for potentially saving me from myself. Thank you for saving me from myself. For that, you know what you're gonna get, Muniz. Muniz, for saving me from myself. 50 points to you. 50 points to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your assistance, as always. Very much appreciated. All right. So one more thing that I want to do then is I want to, and maybe this is insanity. This is probably getting out of control already, but we have our grid cell renderer. This thing's gonna be able to get its underlying. All right, so private wall renderer, wall, private floor renderer, floor. All right, Muniz, enjoy your time away. Enjoy your time away. Public wall renderer wall. Get's just gonna be our wall. Set is going to be. Oh, hang on. There is no set on this one. This one's just a get. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's just gonna be a get. This is a slow get. If wall equals null, get component in children wall renderer. And then we debug.assert wall is not equal to null, and we return wall. And we're gonna do the same thing for our floor renderer. Floor renderer. And this becomes floor, 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 floor. Like that. Okay. And again, maybe this is the insanity. This could be the insanity, is that on validate. Maybe we don't want to do this. Maybe we don't want to do it. But wall dot game objects dot set active is equal to type of cell is equal to cell type dot wall. All right, so now that I know this insane thing exists, I don't know if insane is the right word. I can set my. Oh, hang on, something went wrong. Object not set to instant. Oh, this should be capital wall. Like that. There we go. So now if I set it to a wall, it just sort of turns on. Send message cannot be called during awake. Check consistency of on validate. Cannot be called during awake. Check consistency or on validate. Line 46. Activates the game object depending on. Interesting. Cannot be called during awake. I'm not calling it during awake. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Send message cannot be called during awake. Check consistency or on validate. Oh, cannot call during on validate. Send message cannot be called during on validate. What is calling send message? All right, so it looks like this should probably be because of this warning. I don't know what is sending message, but I guess when we do set active here, this is causing us to get that warning message. And this one we can't actually set, right? It's just a getter. And this one is deprecate, activate self. Yeah. Activates deprecated. You're not supposed to use it. Use set active. Okay. I'm going to do a quick look here. Unity game object set active and on validate. Correct replacement for changing Unity values and on validate. When is this from? 2020, might be a little too old. The Unity approved code base way to make changes to serialize during edit for simple components rather than in on validate. In the past, some UI children positions during edit time on validate. Am seeing this in on validate function where I activate, deactivate children. Is there a correct way to answer? So this would be greatly appreciated. Yes, I'm running the exact problem, trying to activate, deactivate in editor mode based on when a boolean is flipped. I have a solved workaround. Move child one level deeper in hierarchy by creating a new empty object so that you now have original parent, new child, old child. Create a script in the child, execute in edit mode. Now public bool is active, add this to the script. Fascinating. Is it because my floor is doing something when I activate or deactivate? Yeah, it does not like this. I should get 4 when I do that. I get a bunch more. I get 8. I wish I got more information. I wish it told me exactly. It's saying send message can't be called. Fascinating. All right, so I guess we shouldn't do that. I might need a custom editor. Or let's read a little bit more. Unvalidate new child that is active. Can I do is active? Oh, they have a is active here. I know Dramlox Unity is like, no, bad captain. Bad captain. It's telling me to be better. It's telling me to be better. Which I'm kind of okay with. I should probably be better. I just want to know if there's a quick workaround or if I have to. This person starts a coroutine. All right, when using coroutines, we can make sure that our component is active and named before finding the first coroutine. I don't know about that. This seems all super hacky and horrible. I don't think we're gonna do that. Clearly we should be able to do it in the editor because like you can activate and deactivate. It has to do with when we call game object.setActive, it must be triggering other things to fire, like on. I bet it's triggering like on enabled or something along those lines that otherwise would be ignored. So we can't do it during on validate, sadly. But I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that. Drama says the set active. Maybe you were typing more and you hit enter on accident. Yeah, so I think we're gonna do stream elements. Oh, sorry, Spaka Tastier. Yeah, I think something's going on so awkward with that. So it could be some kind of race condition. Yeah, Dremel, because I'm not sure. But Spaka, thank you. Let me know if I'm saying that wrong. Maybe it's Space CA, SPAC CA, Spaka though. Happy Monday, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Captain Coders Academy. If you have any questions, I'm a computer science teacher. I'm a computer science teacher, computer educator, computer science educator, programming educator. Welcome aboard. Everyone here knows that you're welcome to ask questions. I encourage questions. I also encourage backseat coding. That said, I don't always take your coding suggestions, but I'll do my best to explain why or why not. I love when people challenge what I'm doing because it makes me better. Dremel says, since you're telling a component to be deactivated, well, it's trying to activate the first time. Yeah, I think something, when we set it to true, something strange is going on. Let's see, if I just do set true, what happens? These are my definitions. Make a manager that will do that. I don't quite know. I think I kind of think what's happening is it's like triggering on validate recursively somehow. And it's sent, the send message thing. It's like trying to tell all the other components within that things have been deactivated or something. I'm going to try doing it with a custom editor. All right, we're going to try making a custom editor for our grid cell. I actually think our grid cell render is going to need a custom editor anyway. Although we might be able to do it with just like a custom drawer type. Yeah. That said, our Spock says, hi, I am Italian. So nice to meet you, my friend. So nice to meet you. Welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. One sec, in my wall render, let me try something here. No, other people get it. It doesn't have to do with that. Let's try something like this. Type of cell equals wall. Yeah, we still get it. It doesn't have to do with that. I think I'm going to go with custom editor and see if I can get that to work. It just doesn't like it. We can't do it. It doesn't want us to do it in on validate. And if we're getting a warning, there's probably a good reason why they don't want us to do it there. That's really what it comes down. There's probably a good reason they don't want us to do it. So any sort of a hacky workaround is probably going to result in some sort of bug or hacky problem later. So I'm going to go ahead and part of my experience here is learning how to make custom editor components anyway. So I think that is how I'm going to go about it. So in this regard, then, the type of cell is going, I don't think I need it to be serialized. Maybe I do. But the idea is I want to have this when I set, I'm going to do this thing where I have a private cell type of cell under the hood, and when I set it, it will actually do that check for us. So we got type of cell equals value, and then we'll have this if that I deleted down there. If type of cell is equal to cell type dot wall dot set active. Actually, wall dot game object dot set active. Type of cell is equal to cell type wall. So does that kind of make sense? We're gonna do it this way. And I'm assuming if I were to put this in on validate, it also would have an issue, but let's try. Yeah, it's definitely gonna have an issue. On validate. Let's do type of cell is equal to type of cell. I can't imagine that this would just not somehow magically solve it. There's no way. Yeah. Doesn't magically solve our issue at all. All right. But let's go ahead and explore. We have 30 minutes left. About 30 minutes left here. We're gonna look into making a custom editor. So Dremel, because it's giving me a warning for a reason, right? So if I do some hacky workaround, that's probably, you're saying can't run them? I think we can. I think we can. Private IE. Let's check it out. Do it. All right. And we're going to do this in our IEnumerator. And then we'll yield return null. And then what was that? Start coroutine do it. Parentheses. I think we can. Couldn't start because the game grid cell is inactive. All right. You can. I get the same little thing. You can run them. You can run them. I get the same error though. I would have to do, hang on, I do yield, return, wait for end of frame, new. And then that might never happen. Let's see here. Let's select this one closest to me. All right, that frame never happens. Yeah, so it's not like running. So we can't, because it's not actually on a thread. So like if I did 0.1 seconds, this won't, I'm pretty sure this won't do anything. And then like I am getting this weird error each time I come back. It's like, hey, just, you know, grid cell is inactive, something terrible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna actually make a custom editor. We're gonna make a custom editor for this guy. We knew we were gonna have to do this though. We knew we were gonna have to do it at some point. And that's why we made the editor scripts folder. Editor scripts. All right, so create new folder, renderer, new file, wall renderer editor. All right. Let's get this to compile real quick. Clear those out, and let's see if we can remember how to do it. I am Lebac Muniz. We are winning. We discovered a thing. We discovered a thing, which is fine. I think it makes sense. We were trying to be too hacky. Where is it? Hang on. All right. We were trying to be too hacky. We have our grid cell. I was trying to be sneaky here again, using on validate like this. Like this. All right. And we get a warning. We get a warning when we do this because we're setting like a game object active under the hood. All right. It does not like it. It lets it. Well, we set this to a wall, and it's like, hey, I'm a wall now. But it's like, hey, just so you know, you probably shouldn't be doing this. Send this when you do this set active. It's trying to do a send message. You can't do this in awake, check consistency, or on validate. Something is causing us to do a send message, and I think this is related to the serializer, like forwarding things around to various different places. And so when you have a warning like this, you shouldn't ignore it. There's a warning here for a reason. There's a warning here for a reason. Question, you are doing a lot of getters, which get component checks. How about making generic class that takes a type that automates this? When you say I'm doing a getter, I understand I'm doing oh, you're saying like this thing? This specific type of thing? Because I have this repeated? Wall renderer, floor renderer. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Yeah, so the difference with this one's a little bit different. Maybe. But yeah, I know you're suggesting I create have this be a mono behavior and then I have like a renderer of type, wall, something like that. Maybe. So why haven't I done that? That's a good question. The type T, I'm not sure what I'd put in the type T for my generic type. I don't have like a render method on these ones yet. So if I end up with a render method, then I might. And that's why I say that earlier on I said renderer might be like a misnomer. It might not be a particularly good name. But my idea with renderer, in my mind, renderer represents information on how to get something to be drawn on the screen. And so this thing contains the information about how to draw on the screen. In this case, material. And our floor is also going to have a material. These two things might share a ton of information though. So like wall and floor render might not be the same. No, Muna says, no, I was thinking that mesh renderer would be public value mesh renderer wall, where wall would have a value of type T that would get gotten from a component if it isn't set. So here you're saying, oh, this isn't a bad idea. I think, so here might make sense to have, so I think I understand what you're saying. In this case, since this thing should be using the mesh renderer, I would be careful with this, maybe. Write a script, post it on the Discord. I'll take a look at what you're suggesting. That said, I do only have 20 minutes left. Here. But we're gonna see if we get a wall renderer editor in here. And I gotta remember how to do this. So we're gonna make a custom editor. Unity custom editor. It's actually like a custom inspector, I think. Custom editor type of, yeah. So this thing, we're gonna steal these real quick just so I have them. Put us in our namespace, captain coder dot dungeoneering. Comment this out just for a moment. Have this rebuild. And Merkel said that's a good name, Dungeoneering. Yeah, I might call it Dungeoneering Kit. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty happy with that name. Sometimes I do have reasonably decent names. Reasonably decent. I'm not gonna say it's a good name, but this is our grid cell renderer editor, and this needs to extend editor, and it's going to be editing type of grid cell renderer. And is this assembly not referencing this? Grid cell render. This assembly might not be available here yet. Which is interesting. I thought I linked them up. No, it is. It is. All right. It just, I have to reopen this file maybe. Oh, when I've called it wall, this should be, I'm gonna rename this to grid cell renderer editor. Okay, and that should, ooh, that makes me sad that multi-object editing will no longer be supported. We'll probably be able to do something about that. That said, you probably won't be editing these directly. You know what? We probably won't be editing these directly in the scene anyway. So these probably just end up being eventually going to be read-only. So you click a button, it generates it, and then these are connected to a different thing. Yeah, so this stuff doesn't matter all that much, I don't think. This is just fun learning explorations. The explorations, the exploitations and explorations of Captain Coder. All right. And then serialized property, look at point on inspector GUI. We might open up our adventure quests to check out what we did there, just to give myself the refresher of the exam, so I don't have to read all of the hang on, J Collard. Let's go see what we did here. Repositories. Adventure quest prototype. And Morgan says writing code to explore and learn, or as I like to call it, funk. Yeah, to funk around and find out. Function around and find out. I like that. I like that. All right, so we did do custom editors here. So let's go see if we can find those real quick. Specifically, we had our character inspector editor. Mooney says, all right, I posted it on Discord general. Paste bin. That's what I was thinking, Mr. Coder. Default value, like this, where default value of T, where T extends mono behavior. Got you. And then default value. Yeah, so there's this, this is like a, I think this is good. Yeah, so this is like, I think there's already a type here called like a lazy, oh, with default value. Yeah, so this is like a lazy load thing. Default value might not be the right name for it, but yeah, I think this would be nice. I feel like I tried to implement this and there was an issue with it in a previous project. But ideally it would be called like lazy reference. Come up with a better name. Good call, Moonness. I like this. I like this. Let's see if we can steal it. Here, we're gonna try it. Thank you so much, Moonness. Let's give it a shot. This would be probably part of my default Captain Coder, my Captain Coder libs. New folder, utils, create new file, lazy load. I think there's something already called lazy reference, right? Lazy system.lazy. Yeah, there's already a thing called system.lazy. So I don't want to override that, but the idea is this is a lazy load. Lazy value, that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it lazy value. Create new file, lazy value. Lazy value. Using Unity engine. Privacy value. Get the semicolons right. And it would be, so the one thing here is that how do we call get component? Right? So lazy. So see, I remember trying to write this thing that you're doing right here, and I had trouble with it. Because the get components on the object that this thing is inside of. Immortal Kid, lazy load reference didn't quite do what we wanted either. Yeah, it's the get component here is the issue. I remember trying to write this in a previous project, so I kept doing this and I was like, dang, this isn't quite right. Lazy load reference I don't think was quite right either. Lazy load reference. Serializable lazy reference to a Unity object contained in an asset file. Yeah. Yeah, so this would be great if we could write it. I think I can do it, but it ends up being like a weird hacky thing that is hard to understand. And so the reason I opted not to do it, because the way to do it was like so awkward and weird to read anyway. But yeah, lazy load reference doesn't quite do what we want either. Yeah, so this just so the only way I can do it is if I make the only easy way to do it is if I extend mono behavior, and instead of extending mono behavior, do like an extend this thing, and then I can list like a bunch of types in there, and then it became like super gross. Yeah, play around with it, Moonies. If you find a good solution, that would be awesome. I'd love to see it. All right, so let's see. We were in the process of making a editor drawer. Did I close my... Let's go back. Get... Yeah, and then, at that point, it's like, well, it's confusing again to the reader. Yeah, Moon said you could create a constructor and send in game object and use that for the get component. Yeah, you could do weird things to do it, and then it's like, well, what is easier to read and understand, right? This chunk of code here, we do write it over and over. We end up, where is it? Wall runner. I do end up writing this thing over and over. But it's very, very clear, I think, what it's doing. And notice on my material, though, it's different on my material than my mesh renderer. But I do write this thing over and over. I often end up writing this type of thing. Hang on, what is this? Awake render equals, this is backwards. Oh, no, it's that with the first time we load it, we get it. Never mind. This is correct. Adventure Quest prototype, dice roller, asset, script, controller. Oh, I had it a second ago. Oh, I'm on the wrong branch. Develop, assets, scripts, editor, character, inspector, editor. All right, so we need to find the properties, get the thing. Okay, so we still need to serialize some of this stuff, right? So under the hood, let's add in, it's gonna be something like this. Okay, and for some reason this really doesn't want to serialized object to update. What is serialized? Why are you not? Hang on, reload my window, please. Give me my red. I need my red squigglies. I'm useless without my syntax highlighted in red squigglies. Is anyone else useless without your red squigglies? I need my red squigglies. I need them. I'm practically useless without them. Here we go. Now I got red squigglies. All right. Like this. Mooniz, I never write red squigglies. I don't need none. If we look, Mooniz, if we all write in pastebin, we don't get any red squigglies. I see. Beautiful. Excellent idea. Excellent solution to this problem. All right, so I don't quite understand why this is still showing up like that. We will have grid cell renderer. Do I have to do something to this? Character inspector. I shouldn't have to do anything to that. Is it because I haven't changed anything? Editor, all right, let's add in editor property field. I'm gonna find a property. All right. We're relearning this. We are relearning this. So we have this, and this is gonna be our observable type. Is that right? We're gonna find our property on type of cell. And then let's see, property field and type, observable type. I don't know if that did anything. Grid cell renderer editor. How would I test whether or not anything is going on here? I need to, okay. I feel like this isn't actually doing anything. Editor. Let's add a label. Let's add a label here. Clab over on YouTube says, yo, Clab, how it do, my friend? How it do? Name, and then a value here. Test. Clab says, how's the coding coming along? It's coming along all right. We're learning, we're growing. We're figuring some things out. I am working on creating a custom editor. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be doing anything to that. On inspector GUI, on enabled, custom editor, type of grid cell render. I'm trying to make a custom inspector component. I've done it before, and for some reason I cannot figure out. Oh, Unity editor.editor. No, I have that. I have that here. Microwavable Hugs asks, how much time do you have left? About 5 minutes. I'm not here much longer. And then I'll do a little bit of an outro thing. Do they have to be in the same folder? Yeah, so I'm trying to keep my editor stuff in a separate script, or in a separate assembly. So it's actually in a separate assembly. In the last project, they did share a folder. So that could be it. So I'm just surprised by this. Hang on, if I drop this here. No, they weren't in editor. Oh, they weren't. They were in editor. They were. You're right, they were in editor. That shouldn't matter though, does it? All right, so here's the thing. It is detecting it. Check it out. It is detecting it. So if I take out, all right, so notice now that the multiple editor option, that's fascinating, exists. So I have my multiple editor option here. If I add my custom editor grid cell renderer, I know it's finding it because watch this. It goes multi editing not supported. What did I do? Oh my God, what happened? Why is it working suddenly? Did I not hit save? I spent the last 15 minutes going, why isn't this working? What? My brain doesn't understand. I literally just commented this out and uncommented it. Now it's working. What? What? I need a soundboard so I can play JonTron going, what? Wow. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. All right. I wanted this in here. What the heck? Boggled. I'm boggled and boozled. All right, so now we have this. Maybe it was because it just didn't make sense to me. Oh, that's... What? Hang on. I gotta get rid of this on validate. Ugh. My brain can't handle it. My brain can't handle it. All right. I can set this, it doesn't do anything, but the idea here is in my editor, this creates a property field. All right, let's look back at what I did over here. Because when you change the value, we want to have a property field. This should return, can I put a type here of, hang on, let me try something. That's gonna return a grid or a cell type. Can I do that? I want it to be an enum field. Okay, so I gotta do an enum field, hang on. Dot enum fields? What types of, am I doing the right thing? It's a dot field. Shouldn't it be an enum field? Enum, a mask field, pop field? How do I do it in enum? I had an enum before. Label field. Intergree.label field. And I did an enum here before. All right, 2 minutes. All right, one second. I could do it this way, I believe. This causes these things to change. Enum pop-up is what I want. All right, sorry. Enum pop-up. The enum selected. We'll go with, how do I get a reference to my underlying observable guy here? Okay, this is our target. Okay, so our target here, I don't even think I need the serialized thing. This should be our target. This should be our grid cell renderer. I'm gonna call this cell. Cell is equal to target, but we're gonna cast a grid cell renderer. Should have an enum pop-up target, oh sorry, cell dot type of cell. All right, let's see that. Let's see that. Enum pop-up works, we say. Wall. Okay, cool. We can't change it so we don't reset it. All right. We can add in a label on it. I think if I put the first thing that says type, if I do that, should put the word type first. And then what I want to do is I want to say cell.type of cell is equal to whatever we set. Oh. The property or index cannot be used in this context because it's inaccessible. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Grid cell render, because I made it private. I could make it internal. I don't think it matters. We can make it just a set there. All right, this should fix that. Enum pop-up of type cell type. Is that right? Come on. Do I gotta cast it? surprised it doesn't have a generic type there. And maybe it does. Maybe it does, and I'm just dumb. We're running slow. We're running low on time. In fact, we're kind of out of time. All right, but now we should be able to do this. All right, and now no warnings. No warnings. It's happy. It's happy to do it for us. Can we edit multiple at the same? I think it's going to tell us we can't edit multiple at the same time. I must have had multiples selected. All right, but we can select our grid cell like that. Boom. Oh, I selected the wrong one. Floor. So easy to switch them on and off in the inspector there. Can't select multiple. We'll look into that tomorrow. All right, everybody. We did it. We did it. We created a grid cell prefab and added it to a uniscene. Unicoder says can edit multiple. Oh, that might be all we have to do. Might be all we have to do. You're welcome, Mooniz. It's my pleasure to stream. Can edit multiple objects. Oh, fancy. Fancy. Let's see. We're about to find out. Select 2. We can't. You have to handle something with it. Yeah, so there's going to be something I have to do to handle it. So doing this isn't as easy as we might think, although it probably isn't that hard to do. There's just going to be some, we'll see. There's probably something that I just have to do a loop for. So I'm going to take that out for now. We're going to do a commit real quick. We're going to do commit, but we're going to do a commit just a moment. Welcome to the world of Unity code editing. We're learning more. All right, we finished that. All goals were finished. So you get 50 points for finishing a goal and another 50 points for finishing all the goals. So thank you all very much for being here to witness this. We're going to commit all of this here. We're going to do a feat implement basic grid cell. Like that. So we have our render. We added that in. We're going to go and sync this up. We'll find someone to raid. We're going to find someone to raid now. All right, let's go check it out. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who are we gonna raid? Who are you gonna call? Got a lot of choices here. A lot of choices. You're welcome, King Zoldek. Clab. Till next time, my friend. As always, everybody. You know, we're gonna find someone to raid, but let's see. Hedge In. Is Hedge In doing Unity stuff? What is Hedge In? Yeah, they're doing Unity stuff, it looks like. Got an ad. Maybe we'll go see Hedge In. I don't remember what Hedge In. Let's see what they're working on. It says game jamming. They're doing the Hedge Jam. Oh, come on, ad. Play faster. I need a fast forward button on an ad. Oh yeah, Hedge In. We're gonna go raid Hedge In. Hedge In's cool. Cool stuff going on there. Alright. Hedge In. Here we go. Alright, everybody. As always, keep on coding, keep growing, keep building up those skills, and as always, you're welcome back anytime. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time.